about to chat with Tim Nolan, about to start his second year with Northwestern. And one of the strengths of this team, the key returners that they have from the attack mindset on the pin. You see 3 different players from last year's roster averaging over 1.5 kills per set from that position. But it's not just all about those returnees. You have to influence and impact the newcomers as well. Ayel Nadi over 3.25 kills per set a year ago at Kansas. Campbell Paris as well at South Carolina. And Bella Boynton, one of the highly rated youngsters coming in to this Northwestern program. Television schedule was released earlier on Monday, and you see the Cats on the big screen 3 times this year here on the Big Ten Network. Late September against Indiana, against Michigan in mid-October, and then late in the year taking on the Purdue Boilermakers. So with all that Northwestern information now in hand, welcome in second-year head coach Tim Nolan. Tim, we did this for the first time a year ago. So for you, how different has this summer felt in comparison to last year when pretty much everything was brand new?
Well, this summer for sure it feels a lot slower. We're not scrambling, trying to put together a roster still. You know, we're really comfortable with the players we have and the training we got to have all spring.
Welcome back to the 2025 B10 Volleyball Media Days.
Here we'll sit down with their staff, assess what went right, what went wrong, where you can make big-time improvements. How did you assess year one?
You know, year one was about, we knew it was going to be really tough. Just playing the league we're playing, and again, coming on late. But I feel like we did some things well, starting with culture and competing. And we pushed a lot of teams to the limit. You know, we really only got blown out twice the whole year. And in this conference, it can happen any given night. So I was pleased with that. And then we worked really hard to implement some depth in the offseason defensively and offensively. And looking forward to showcasing that this fall.
You mentioned culture is certainly one of the buzzwords right now around not just volleyball, but every collegiate sport. What do you want the culture to be with Northwestern volleyball?
You know, I think for me, it's how do you measure it? Like, how do you quantify it? And if you're bringing in student athletes, investing them and having them graduate, that's a sign of a really healthy program. And that's what we're going to do.
Obviously, there are expectations heading into year one when you're in a new league and you're taking over a new program. How did the reality meet up with what your expectations were heading into the Big Ten?
You know, it was pretty on par. We played a lot of great matches in some really historic, great venues against some of the best teams in the country and against some of the greatest minds on the coaching side.
You have a lot of change, obviously, with this year's team. You have 3 freshmen and 5 transfers. We showed from some big-time programs like Kansas, South Carolina. When you and the staff went into the portal, what were you looking for?
Well, we were only interested in taking players we felt could really impact us. You know, we weren't going to take people just to take people. So we were looking for pieces that fit kind of into our system. I think we're going to play a little bit differently this coming year. And so the pieces we were able to add, I think, kind of play towards that.
But without giving away too many state secrets, I have to follow up on that. How do you anticipate looking different than you looked in 2024?
Well, I think we're going to ball handle a lot better, which is going to allow us to play a lot more tempo. You know, we can't play the same way as Nebraska, Minnesota, and Penn State. We're a different type of team, so we're going to play that way. I would say we're going to play a lot closer to maybe how Indiana plays, just a lot quicker, and really try and control the tempo of the game.
One of those transfers, Ayel Nadi, coming from Kansas, spent 4 years there, very productive during her time with the Jayhawks. For those who haven't seen her, what's her skill set and what do you need her to give you this season?
Well, if she could give us 3.5, 4 kills a set, it would be
pretty
great.
good, yeah.
But, you know, she's a great point scorer. She's equally skilled at attacking out of back row as she is front row. She's got a great serve. We're going to kind of give her the green light and tell her to go for it. And then she can play all 6. She can pass. And so, again, having her on the floor the entire time, if we need to being able to calm people down, showcase, you know, just her skills front row, back row, I think it's a game changer for us.
As one of the top academic schools in the country, I know Northwestern is unique in its requirements as well. How does that kind of impact what you and your staff do, whether it be in the portal or in the traditional recruiting window?
Sure. I mean, Northwestern is Northwestern, right? We're a top 6 academic school in the country. We're really proud of it. And we're not going to sacrifice it all to bring in student athletes. So for us, you know, one of the first questions we're always asking is, do you understand the academics at Northwestern, and can you send me your transcripts?
And I'm assuming the answer is typically yes, otherwise they're not part of your program. Sienna Nordemir is here as part of your program. What will her role be both on and off the floor in terms of production and leadership this year?
Yeah, Sienna is one of our voted captains, and so she is obviously guiding us in that way. She's a setter. Right now our gym is a complete green light. Everyone's competing for time, so Sienna and Aya both got to get in there and practice, starting on the first, and get after it and try and earn some time. But I think just their leadership, having been around it and been in it, is really, really impactful for our team.
I know player-led teams are what every coach wants, but specifically when you get into this league and you have to deal with the level of competition that you have to deal with, you're going to go through rough times. Almost everybody does, save perhaps Nebraska and Penn State the last couple of years. So how much more critical does that player-led run team become when you go through those rough stretches?
Oh, it's imperative. I mean, to be able to have senior leadership that the team can lean on, that the staff can lean on, to have that bridge between the team and the staff, to help kind of reset and refocus, because after every match it's a reset. The sun's going to rise again the next day, no matter how you did. You're going to move forward. Okay, what went well? What can we do better? Who do we have next? Okay, how do we draw it up? Let's go get a W. And having those older kids that can help keep everyone going the same direction is really imperative.
Discussed Aya and Sienna a little bit in terms of their skill sets already. What other players, be they returnees, transfers, or even freshmen, do you expect to have an impact, perhaps even immediately for you?
Man, we're going to have so many kids on the floor. It's really exciting. I think Buse Azan had a great year last year attacking for us, obviously led us in points. Drew Wright, Gigi Navarrete, both ball control pieces, fighting for that libero jersey, but both had incredible springs. Their perfect pass percentage went up a great deal. Rylan Reed had a great year on and off for us last year. She had a really, really productive spring. Lauren Carter, our other setter, going to be a senior as well. Really connecting well with Campbell Paris and some other pieces throughout the spring. So there's so many people that are going to be able to contribute, but it's going to take all of us. There's no easy night in this league.
It's a lot of players to get into a rotation. Would that be the goal, for you to get as many different athletes on the floor as you possibly can?
No, the goal is going to be to win. And then how we create that formula is going to be up to us during double days. I can see it having a lot of people rotating through. I can see it being matchup based. Hey, tonight we got to play this way. Tomorrow we need to play this way. But the goal is to win.
You obviously have a bit of a West Coast background, having spent time at USC as an assistant, then at Grand Canyon before this job. Last year with USC, UCLA, Oregon, and Washington joining the league, we all tried to envision how it would change the Big Ten and what it would look like. Having lived through it, what did you think about the transition?
I enjoyed it. I just enjoyed more high-level volleyball matches. The more, the better. I think it also brings, the league more coast to coast, which increases viewership, in my opinion. The Big Ten, hands down, the best league in the country. So adding those top West Coast teams, I think, only made sense.
And as I glance at your schedule, you make a road trip to USC this year. Have you thought yet about what that will feel like for you as the head Wildcat?
Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's always great to go back to old stomping grounds. I'm an SC alum from back in the day before I coached there. The ticket requests are already coming through like crazy, but we're going to have a strong presence there for the Cats, and I think it'll be fun.
Talk about ticket requests, you talk about TV viewership, you talk about popularity. Tim, it's changed so much since you started coaching. How does volleyball stay on this upward trajectory in terms of both its popularity and its visibility?
Well, I think first and foremost, we have to continue to invest in the student athletes, giving them the opportunities to showcase their talents on TV and investing them on the court, off the court. I think that's the biggest path. The reason it's popular is because of them. It's not the coaches. Everyone wants to see the student athletes. I think the Big Ten Network has kind of led the charge in that, and we're really, really proud to be part of it.
Yeah, we're proud of that as well. From a coach's perspective, what's the most enjoyable part of being along for this ride?
Just watching the growth of the game. Watching little kids coming out and knowing who players are and wanting to emulate them and wearing their jersey in the stands and just watching that, I think, is really, really special.
You have a somewhat backloaded road schedule. I believe 6 of your last 8 matches this season are away from home. So how much more critical does that make it that you guys are able to have success in Evanston in the early and mid portion of the conference schedule?
Well, I think you have to be able to defend home court, especially in this league. Every match is tough. If you got to win the matches you're supposed to win, you got to try and steal a couple. I think if you're going to steal them, you got to definitely try and steal the ones at home.
What was it like from a coach in this conference? I know you weren't part of it, but to watch the Final Four, to watch that epic match between Penn State and Nebraska, and then to watch Penn State bring back a national championship to the league that you coach in?
I think it's great for the Big Ten. You know, I think we can have 3 to 4 teams in the Final Four every year, depending on brackets and matchups and things like that. And it just validates that, again, this is the best league in the country. And, you know, to have stood toe-to-toe with both those teams in the fall made me feel pretty good about our efforts.
Tim, I do want to ask most coaches who sit down here with me today and have coached against or spent time with John Cook, who obviously announced his retirement earlier this year after a legendary career at Nebraska, what he has meant to either you directly or to the sport of volleyball as a whole.
Well, I think the volleyball, he's been incredible for the growth of the game. You know, he was such a pillar for such a long time and bringing the sport forward and pushing it to new heights. You know, he came to Evanston last year, walked over, checked in on me, you know, asked me how it was going, anything he could do to help. That's just kind of who he was. But I think for the game of volleyball, he's done so much for it that we're still going to be talking about him in 10 years, 15 years.
Tim, I do want to wrap up with your team and your approach over the next couple of weeks as you get ready for the opener. Where's the biggest focus for Tim Nolan and Northwestern Volleyball?
Developing student athletes right now. We are going to spend a lot of time training, going through offensive systems, defensive systems, breaking down skill positions. We have a little bit of time. We don't play that week 0. So we're going to really use it to kind of slowly ramp up and train and hopefully have a healthier student athlete.
Tim, as always, great to catch up. Wish you the best of luck this year.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
All right, let's get to